Again, Peter denied it. With these words, we witness a truth that can often be overlooked when we try to take in the whole scope of Jesus' death on the cross. John's gospel in particular focuses more on Jesus' final moments on the cross, including his last words to the Blessed Mother and the disciple whom he loved. But the truth is this, that not just Peter the man sins against Jesus by denying that he knew him. Peter, the head of the church, sins against Jesus as representative of all the disciples save one, the disciple whom the Lord loved. Our church sinned against Jesus Christ, and in the following 2,000 years, it would not be the last time. It is important to note that not all of our church sinned against Jesus that day. The fourth gospel tells us that 3 women and an unnamed disciple are with Jesus to the very end, the margins of this nascent church. Again, this familiar theme that will play out again and again over the next 2,000 years finds its first genesis in this moment. This interplay between the leaders of our institutional church and her members on the margins is one of the abiding wounds of the body of Christ. This is seen in the Catholic Church's historical legacy around the issue of slavery. Even the Society of Jesus, whose works at ensuring the dignity of Native peoples in Central and South America are highlighted in the 1986 film, The Mission, would own slaves in the United States, and in 1838, the Maryland province of the Society of Jesus would sell more than 272 men, women, and children to help financially support the then struggling Georgetown University. Again, Peter denied it. It would take over 180 years for the Marys and beloved disciples of that sale to be recognized for, yet again, being with Jesus at the cross. Today, our institutional church continues to struggle with recognizing the inherent dignity of all people. And here I am thinking of our sisters and brothers who identify as being LGBTQ. Again, Peter denied that he knew Jesus. And again, they stand with Jesus at the cross. And it is for this church, divided and broken, that Jesus dies for us on the cross. Not a church that was perfect then, not a church that is perfect now, but one that is brokenhearted, bruised, and sometimes sinful. Jesus dies for both Peter and those standing at his feet when he does so. Jesus does not die for perfection, he dies for love. It is this fact that I believe holds the key for our healing as well, for we know that the story does not stop there. On Easter Sunday, we will witness another chapter in this story. We see Peter and the disciple whom Jesus loved running together to witness an empty tomb. We will at some point see Peter ask for forgiveness. But do not let us rush too far ahead of today, because it is the recognizing of the reality of our own church, having always been a product of these two sides of a coin, that we can actually look to the future with hope. Because we also hear Jesus utter 2 more phrases in the fourth gospel. First, we hear Jesus declare, "I thirst." And on some levels, this shows us the humanity of a Jesus who has human needs to the very end. But on other levels, I believe this is a final admonishment, an admonishment to all of us, that Jesus continues to thirst for justice, for love, and for unity. For it is not only the global church in the abstract or her leaders who play the part of Peter. We too have participated at times in turning our hearts and minds away from the thirst of Jesus. We too have been blind to our neighbors, our sisters, and our brothers because of fear, anger, and jealousy. And so too have we played the part of the disciples whom Jesus loved in our small acts of love and our patient waiting and suffering at the foot of the cross. Then Jesus declares in the fourth gospel, "It is finished." You see, this is not to signify that the work of the church is done, or that it has reached perfection, or that it is complete. For when Jesus cries that his work is finished, it is a way to say that the bridge between heaven and earth, between Peter and those at the foot of the cross, is finished. When Jesus cries out that his work is finished, our work has just begun.